Hey guys, and welcome to Cool Vision. I've decided to travel around Central Asia and visit some of the countries that used to be part of the USSR. So let's discover ancient cities, architectural masterpieces, delicious food, warm weather, deserts, mountains, and cotton.
A small country in Central Asia is quietly reshaping how the world thinks about power. While superpowers clash and alliances harden, Uzbekistan is crafting a new kind of diplomacy, one that avoids choosing sides yet still reaps major rewards. And its latest move with BRICS Plus might be the boldest yet. The big step in Brazil. July 2025 marked a turning point. At the 17th BRICS Plus Summit in Brazil, Uzbekistan was officially granted BRICS Plus partner country status. This wasn't just symbolic. It placed Tashkent alongside 9 other new partners, including Nigeria, Kazakhstan, and Malaysia, signaling its growing influence on the global stage. The move came just weeks after Uzbekistan's accession to the BRICS New Development Bank was formally approved in June 2025. Through this partnership, the country secured access to a development program worth around $5 billion, aimed at critical sectors. The funds are already earmarked for critical sectors: modernizing irrigation systems, boosting mining output, creating public-private education partnerships, and building new infrastructure. For a landlocked country that sits at the crossroads of Eurasia, these investments mean more than money. They mean leverage, connectivity, and a stronger voice in shaping its future. Not about choosing sides. Observers may assume that aligning with BRICS Plus means stepping away from Western partners, but Uzbekistan is doing something very different. Its engagement with BRICS Plus is deliberately non-ideological. The partner status allows Uzbekistan to attend high-level summits and collaborate on technical projects without taking on the heavy political commitments that full membership would require. Unlike Azerbaijan, which applied for full membership back in August 2024, Tashkent has kept its distance from bloc politics. This approach is part of a broader doctrine. Uzbekistan is not turning its back on the West. Instead, it's extending its options, diversifying development finance, expanding diplomatic relationships, and maximizing economic leverage, all while safeguarding its autonomy. The country is playing by its own rules, and it's doing so with precision. A web of partnerships. To understand this strategy, you need to look at the bigger picture. Uzbekistan is weaving a web of partnerships that stretch across the world. On one hand, it cooperates with the United States through the C5+1 platform, a key initiative for Central Asian security and development. On the other, it's moving toward World Trade Organization membership, deepening ties with the European Union, and securing investment agreements with Gulf states, South Korea, and China. Adding BRICS Plus into this mix doesn't replace these relationships, it strengthens them. Tashkent's approach is all about balance. Unlike countries that commit to one bloc at the expense of others, Uzbekistan is proving that you can engage with everyone and still stay independent.
Uzbekistan is officially known as the Republic of Uzbekistan and is one of the main countries in Central Asia. With a land area of approximately 448,900 square kilometers, the country is quite expansive. However, due to deserts and mountains, not every part of the country is suitable for human habitation. Uzbekistan has a population of approximately 35 million people, making it the most populous country in Central Asia. The capital city, Tashkent, is the most popular city in Uzbekistan and is often the initial destination for visitors. Tashkent was a significant trading hub, especially during the Soviet Union era. It was the second most popular Soviet city after Moscow and St. Petersburg. It is home to approximately 3 million residents. Uzbekistan does not have a coastline along any sea but has several lakes and rivers within its borders. The Aral Sea is the most notable among them. The Aral Sea used to be one of the largest lakes in the world and was even referred to as a sea at one point. However, it has since shrunk, unfortunately, becoming a shadow of its former self. Uzbekistan is a gold-rich country, and it is not a metaphor. It is the 4th largest gold producer globally, with gold extracted from mines.
The role of a bridge state. The national interest recently described Uzbekistan not as a swing state, but as a bridge state. That's a powerful distinction. Swing states tend to shift loyalties between great powers, but bridge states connect regions, foster dialogue, and facilitate trade. This is the role usually associated with larger middle powers like Turkey or Indonesia. Now, Uzbekistan is stepping into that space. Timing is everything here. The world is moving toward a multipolar order where no single power dominates. Global governance is gridlocked, great power competition is intensifying, and countries across the global south are demanding a bigger say. Uzbekistan is using this moment to position itself as a connector, a country that others need to work with, no matter which side they're on. Risks in the game. Of course, this balancing act comes with risks. BRICS Plus is growing in geopolitical weight, especially with the recent inclusion of Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia, and with rising talk of de-dollarization. In Washington, BRICS Plus is increasingly viewed as a direct challenge to U.S. influence. Statements by former U.S. President Donald Trump about potential tariffs on countries supporting anti-American BRICS policies have fueled tensions, highlighting how sensitive these alignments have become. Even though Uzbekistan's engagement with BRICS Plus is focused on development, the optics could be tricky. If Washington interprets this move the wrong way, it might see Tashkent as leaning toward the BRICS camp. For Uzbekistan, managing these perceptions will be just as important as managing the investments themselves. Why the U.S. still needs Uzbekistan? Despite these risks, the relationship between Washington and Tashkent remains strong. Uzbekistan is still a key player in U.S. policy for Central Asia. It's a potential WTO member and continues to receive development support from agencies like the International Development Finance Corporation. For the United States, penalizing a country like Uzbekistan would be counterproductive. Instead, it should recognize the value of having a flexible partner in such a strategic region. In a multipolar world, rigid alliances no longer work. The U.S. needs to adapt its diplomacy to accept the fact that countries like Uzbekistan will engage with multiple powers. This isn't disloyalty, it's survival. The economic transformation behind Uzbekistan's diplomacy. While Uzbekistan's global strategy is capturing attention, there's another story unfolding at Home One that explains why Tashkent is so confident on the world stage. The country is undergoing a rapid economic transformation, driven by the rise of a gig economy, new tax reforms, and ambitious job creation plans. According to Uzbekistan's State Taxation Committee, government-reported figures suggest more than a quarter of the working-age population is now classified as self-employed, rising to over 5.5 million by July 2025. Just a year earlier, that figure stood at 3.5 million. The surge is most visible in household services, agricultural services, and manufacturing services sectors that are becoming the backbone of a more flexible entrepreneurial workforce.
Preliminary results from Uzbekistan's presidential poll on Sunday show incumbent Shavkat Mirziyoyev winning with 87.1% of the vote. He was widely expected to win a third term after calling a snap election, following a constitutional referendum earlier this year, which paved the way for him to serve 2 more presidential terms. It also increased the mandate from 5 to 7 years. The 65-year-old leader has opened up the tightly controlled former Soviet republic to foreign investment and tourism, but there's still little political freedom.
From shadow economy to formal growth. Why does this matter? Because much of this workforce used to operate in the shadows, outside of official records. Rideshare drivers, food delivery workers, tutors, small-scale vendors, and service providers often relied on cash transactions, avoiding formal taxation. But now, the government is pulling this vast informal sector into the light. The tax committee has already registered nearly 800,000 rideshare and food delivery workers. It has also integrated 208 companies in these sectors with the state's digital tax systems. This shift has already delivered tangible results, adding about $7 million in extra revenue to government coffers in 2025 alone. For a country with big development ambitions, every dollar counts. Taxes and new rules for gig workers. These changes come with new rules. Starting this year, gig workers in Uzbekistan will have taxes withheld if their income exceeds about $7,800 annually. For comparison, the average annual income in the country at the start of 2025 was just over $5,000. This means many gig workers will remain untaxed, but those earning above average will begin contributing to state revenues. This policy strikes a balance. It keeps taxes fair for lower earners while helping the government fund its ambitious development plans. It also signals to international investors that Uzbekistan is serious about building a transparent, rules-based economy, something that aligns perfectly with its strategy of attracting diverse foreign partners, from the EU to BRICS+, President Mirziyoyev's Jobs Initiative. Behind these reforms is President Shavkat Mirziyoyev's bold pledge to create over 5 million jobs by the end of 2025. To make this happen, the government is leveraging both global partnerships and domestic innovation. At the community level, local neighborhood committees known as mahallas are playing an active role. These committees are tasked with encouraging entrepreneurial spirit, reducing dependency on state aid, and supporting low-income families in starting small businesses. Why domestic growth strengthens global standing. Uzbekistan's economic reforms are not happening in isolation. They are part of the same bigger picture as its BRICS+ engagement and its partnerships with the West. A stronger domestic economy gives Tashkent more room to maneuver internationally. It reduces reliance on any single partner, making its foreign policy more credible. When a country can show investors, allies, and rivals that it is building sustainable growth at home, its influence abroad naturally increases. How Uzbekistan keeps its balance. For Tashkent, the challenge now is to hold this line without looking evasive. That means clear communication. The government needs to consistently show that its engagement with BRICS+ and other global players is about national development, not about taking sides in geopolitical rivalries.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have the President of Uzbekistan with us. He's a highly respected man in his country and throughout. We've been working very closely together on different things, including trade. They've actually made investments here. We make investments there. We're working together from the standpoint of the military, including his purchase of equipment and military equipment from the United States. Mr. President, it's a great honor to have you. Thank you.
Adhering to international standards will also help. Uzbekistan is already focusing on environmental, social, and governance practices, the rule of law, and investor protections. Continuing these reforms will not only attract more investments, but also shield the country from reputational risks. By presenting its partnerships as complementary instead of confrontational, Uzbekistan can maintain the maneuverability it values so highly. Why this model matters. Uzbekistan's approach isn't just good for itself, it could be a blueprint for others. Across Southeast Asia, the Caucasus, and East Africa, many small and mid-sized countries are under similar pressure to pick sides. By building a foreign policy that's flexible, interest-driven, and development-focused, Uzbekistan is showing that there's another way forward. This strategy of dynamic interdependence is likely to become more important as global power continues to fragment. Countries that can connect rather than divide, that can build relationships across rival blocs, will have a significant advantage. Uzbekistan is proving that even a small, landlocked state can punch above its weight with the right mix of pragmatism and vision. Looking ahead, so where does this path lead? If Uzbekistan can continue to manage its relationships skillfully, it could cement its status as a bridge between regions, cultures, and markets. But the world is unpredictable. Great power competition could intensify, tariffs could rise, and alliances could shift. For Uzbekistan, the key will be staying flexible without losing clarity. As long as it communicates openly, maintains standards, and keeps reforming, it will preserve the autonomy it has worked so hard to build. This isn't just a story about Uzbekistan, it's a story about how power works in the 21st century. The old rules of with us or against us no longer apply. The future belongs to countries that can navigate complexity, avoid traps, and leverage opportunities wherever they find them. Uzbekistan is showing that even in a world of giants, there's room for smart, strategic players to thrive. And that leaves one big question: how many other nations will follow this path? In an age where alliances are shifting and influence is up for grabs, Uzbekistan might just be showing the world how to stay ahead. Let us know what you think about this new strategy in the comments. Do you see other countries adopting this approach? And what risks do you think Uzbekistan faces next? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this, because the global game is changing fast, and you'll want to stay informed.